Class, welcome to week 2. We are jumping into the content this week. Last week was really about getting to know the course, getting to know each other, and this week we are going to get into the content now of the course. And to start out, we're talking about different business models, how to measure the demand and the competition for an idea that you have, and this is really all about coming up with a sound business idea. And I hope that these assignments will help play into your project 1 down here, which will be a foundational project for the course. The two topics this week are business model and idea generation and demand and competition. This week will kick off this pattern we follow each week, where you have 2 assignments. We call them prepare assignments, and then you got 2 discussion boards, and then at the bottom you got your weekly reflection. Project 1 is thrown in here, and you'll have 6 projects spread throughout the course. We'll get into the first assignment, and I'll walk you through your responsibilities here. The basis of this assignment is to read through the case study and then to make a recommendation based on this case study. And so you will write an essay and walk through the decision-making process found in the case. So if you click on the case, it will load here. This is the case of the online business part 1. You're a group of students at BYU Idaho, and we will go through various iterations of this case. You kind of work with this group over the next couple weeks as you get into the course. So this won't be the only case study we'll use. This is called part 1 for a reason. Fun-filled fact, this guy up here is named Rafa. He was my Elders Quorum president at BYU Idaho years ago. So glad to see his pictures still kicking around out there. Great guy. So that'll bring you some comfort, I'm sure, on your case study. But once you've read through the case study and you act as the group, you are essentially the 4th member of the group, and you're going to make a recommendation. It is important to remember you cannot make a wrong recommendation. You've got 2 options. You can choose one or the other. The question is how you defend your decision. And so the second part, providing the rationale for your decision, is really key in your essay. You want to be able to defend it. There's some additional resources down here. Really interesting stuff. I will add a word of caution on Russell Brunson and his secret magic box. It is very fascinating. It is very telling of the power of online business. And so it is an interesting video. I do caution you that personally I disagree with Russell Brunson's secret magic box because the magic box he's created doesn't provide enough value, and you're not going to have a lot of success long term if you don't provide value. It's sort of a flash in the pan thing. And so I think it's helpful to see what he can do online, and he's a well-known speaker about online business. But in this particular video, I do want to make you aware of what I see as a shortcoming. His secret magic box needs to provide a little bit more value if he's going to have some long-term success. He has some short-term success in there, but that's the only caution I would add. Besides that, it's very fascinating to see the power of online business when you watch a video like that. So that will be your first assignment. I'll jump into this discussion board. I won't go into each discussion board explanation, but since this is the first one, I want to make sure it's clear. By the first due date, you need to provide your first post. It should be about 75 words minimum, about 4 substantial sentences. And so we look at that first post to be significant. We expect you to be able to defend your position. Feel free to disagree, to argue tactfully, and to be polite in that disagreement. And then part 2 to be completed by midweek, right? So that next due date, you need to respond to at least 2 of your classmates' posts, and this should also be thoughtful and substantive. If you're agreeing, saying thanks, that's good, but we need a little bit more than that in the discussion board for full credit. So at least 2 class members' posts is what you need to respond to, and then you need to post yours by that first due date. And you'll notice the the two due dates here, September 21st for that first discussion board post and September 23rd for the responses. We'll jump now into the second prepare assignment, which is demand and competition. Google Ads has a feature that can actually show you how many people are searching for a certain product or keyword. So if you have an idea about selling camping tents, we'll say, you can know how many people are searching for that product online. You can also know whether or not there's a lot of other businesses selling that. And so if competition is high or competition is low, Google Ads can also tell you that. So it's really, really powerful information, because if you're coming up with an idea and you're thinking, well, does anybody else do this? Is this really competitive? You may find a space where there's a product that is not as high in demand as you thought, and a little bit higher competition. You don't want to find yourself in a space like that, right? There's not enough demand to go around, and there's already high competition. What you really want to find is where there's high demand and lower competition. That means you're finding an idea that hasn't been really well developed by other companies yet, and yet a lot of people want it. You can't always find that. As you're coming up with ideas, I would say, especially for this, if this is the first time you're launching a business, follow your passion more even than the data. This is your, hopefully one of many online businesses you can launch. They're simple to launch. This is going to give you the framework. You want to enjoy your work in this class, and so keep that in mind. You do want to be passionate about the idea, but this process will tell you whether or not that idea is viable or not. To do it, you need to create a Google Ads account. Now, I will warn you, Google Ads is constantly updating their interface. They've done so recently. We're trying to get some updated content on here to walk you through this, but be patient with this process. The idea is that you will create a Google Ads account. If you want, you can enter billing information. We will use it later because we're going to use this platform, and we're going to put some money into it to launch a campaign later on. And so if you're comfortable, you can go ahead and put in that billing information now. If not, there's some workarounds, and that's what these videos are about, is getting to the Google Ads Keyword Planner. That's the tool we need to use, is the Keyword Planner. That's what's going to tell you all this information that you'll need for this business case. So you'll be studying, excuse me, I popped over there, the case of the online business part 2. This is substantially similar in construct to your other business case that you studied for your last assignment. It's just a continuation. You'll take on the role of Amy this time. You'll make a recommendation, and you'll submit your recommendation based on the data. Now, you do need to pull data from the Keyword Tool Planner in order to make your recommendation. You will also fill out this demand and competition spreadsheet. This is the information you're going to pull from Google Ads. You're not going to use ukuleles and guitars. You're using chess and snowboards for yours. But you will come up with keywords, 10 keywords for snowboard, 10 keywords for chess, and then you'll look up the competition level and the number of monthly impressions. A good tip that they cover in the video but sometimes is missed is you do want to download your data from Google Ads in order to get the exact number of monthly impressions. This is a little deceiving on these monthly impressions because they all end in zeros. If you have real monthly impressions, they're not all going to end in whole round numbers like that. So this is just sample data. But you can organize yours in the exact same way. Just use your own keywords and then your research on level of competition and monthly impressions. I'll say it just one more time to be clear. This data comes from Keyword Tool Planner, which is what those videos are about up there, to teach you how to get into that Keyword Tool Planner. So list at least 10 keywords for snowboard, 10 keywords for chess, show the competition and monthly impressions for each word. So you're going to have a data component to this and an essay component. You'll need to turn in both the spreadsheet and the Word document, and this is really the pattern you'll follow throughout the rest of I'd say the first 30% of the course is going to have a data component and an essay component. You'll have a discussion board on that follows the same instructions as the other one we looked at. I will jump briefly into Project One. There are numerous videos on Project One, on Project One, for good reason. This is a more time-intensive project. It is foundational to the course. You will download this spreadsheet, and please note it has 8 tabs, and each semester I get a student who misses the fact that there are numerous tabs when you download the spreadsheet. There are a lot of pieces to this, so don't miss them. You'll go step by step. You want to fill each one out before moving to the next tab. And the videos down here will walk you through each tab. And the idea is that you're going to come up with 20 business ideas. Then you'll take the top 5 and you'll really flush them out. And from there, the last tab will rank them based on your data. Say, here's your best idea, here's your second best idea, etc. This is a really cool process. It's a very powerful tool for entrepreneurs as you come up with business ideas. And I think one of the best skill sets the course can give you. So I won't go into a ton of detail just because there's a video on each portion, and I don't want to create repetitive videos and use your valuable time like that. If you've got specific questions after watching those videos, please reach out. I'd be happy to help you. Last one is a reflection. You will do this each week. For this first one, you need to create a blog. This is a free blog. Please don't go out there and purchase blog space unless you want to for other purposes. But for the purposes of this course, you just need a free blog. They're offered on Wix, Weebly, Blogspot. There's tons of different places where you can just grab a free blog, and you're going to write each week. Just reflect on what you learned, what was significant to you. There's some detailed instructions here. Note it needs to be that at least 150 words in length. And then what you'll do is you will post the URL, not of your main blog, of the actual post the URL, as well as the content of your blog post. Post those two things together for this weekly reflection. That's a weekly assignment, so you'll be posting to this blog each week, and I hope it'll be a good source after the course is over to look back at the things you learn and look back at your growth. It's a really neat class because you go from not knowing, for most of you, the construct of an online business and how to run a business and what components go into it, to a functional business owner with an active running business by the end of the course. And I think you'll like watching this progress in these weekly reflections when you look back on it. It also helps a lot in solidifying what you learned each week. That will be it for week 2. I apologize for the length of this video. There's a lot to get into. We're trying to introduce the basics of the course, and so if I've gone on too long, I apologize. Most future videos will be not quite as long. Toward the first quarter of the course, there's some longer videos as we get into some more complex assignments or topics to get the course kicked off. If you would like me to go further into any of these topics, please reach out. I'd be happy to have further discussions and further explanations on any of them. Thanks, everyone.